Welcome, Bible lovers. The Wisdom Center Church welcomes you again to Mike Murdoch Radio, 7 nights a week, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And now a man who loves the Bible, Dr. Mike Murdoch.
Wonderful, wonderful love family. Mike Murdoch here at my home in Dallas, Texas. It's a thrill to be a part of your life or your world. I fell in love with the Lord at 8 years old. Started preaching for my father at 8. The 25th chapter of Proverbs has a phrase, the Lord will reward you. If there's anything that I found out in the 80 years on earth, is that God is a reward God. One place he says, withhold not good from them to whom it's due when it's in the power of your hand to bless them. I want to tell you some illustrations today because that 25th chapter, written by the wisest human who ever walked on the earth, Solomon. Chapter 25 is worth reading. That little phrase caught me today about the Lord will reward you. And I want to tell you a little story. Something good is close. Something good is close. I just know it. Something good is close. Something good is close. My God will show it. He's a miracle God who answers prayer. He's a miracle God who really cares. Something good is close. Something good is close. My God will show it. Remember this song? You can make it. Somehow you're gonna make it. This trial you're going through, God's gonna show you just what to do. You're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. I don't care what's going wrong. God won't let it last too long. You're not in this thing alone. You can make it. Here at my piano. I'll tell you the stories, by the way. Be sure and write my phone number down so you can have book 72 sent to you. Book 72 is a list of the greatest discoveries of my life at 80 years old. I learned things from Jimmy Swaggart, hours and hours sitting in his house, that I never heard from my father. What I heard from my father, I never heard one word about it from Oral Roberts. But I would go on vacations with Oral Roberts, and we would spend hours and hours, and I heard things from Oral Roberts that I never read in the 10,000 books in my library that I read. The learning world is valuable. You say, Brother Mike, I thought God was in control of everything. You know better than that. If God was in control of everything, there would be no rapes. If God was in control of everything, there's no reason to pray. There's no reason to study the Bible, which is the wisdom book of God. Sometimes I call this day Bible Day because I'm such a Bible-obsessed person. I've read the Bible through way over 100 times. And every morning, my 3 hours with God, I wrote a song. When I'm in your presence, I change. I'm just not the same. I'm just not the same. When I'm in your presence, Holy Spirit, I change. And I can't go back to yesterday again. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. Sweet Holy Spirit, I'm in love. Oh, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. Sweet Holy Spirit, I'm in love. I'm building my life, building all my dreams around you. I like this song. I'm building my life, building my dreams around you. I want to spend all the rest of my days living in your presence, in my secret place. I'm building my whole life, building all my dreams, Holy Spirit, around you. I want to share a lot of the things with you in my book that I'm sending to you. It's free. Book 72, Double Diamond Daily Devotional. It's book 72, and my phone number is 72 Radio 500. Radio 500. I want to pray for 3 miracles in a few moments, and I want to share with you one of the greatest miracles of my life. Remember the phone number 72 Radio 500. I've been asking the Lord for 500 radio partners. That's why I call this Radio 500. But I felt led to tell you some things about the Bible. It takes 56 hours to read the Bible through. Theologians say 40 people wrote the Bible over a 1,600-year period. 39 Old Testament books. Moses wrote the first 5, called the Pentateuch. Penta means 5 books. Moses said in Deuteronomy 4 that the Bible was the wisdom of God. Theologians say that between Malachi and Matthew, there's 400 years of God's silence. Now, when you read this, it makes you want to cry. But the historian said that God became very angry with man after Malachi, and he quit talking to people for 400 years. Something happened, and in Matthew 1 picks it up. Matthew, the tax collector who traveled with Jesus, started the New Testament of 27 books. When I was 15 years old, a hero of mine who came to preach for my father walked over to me on a Thursday morning Bible study and tapped me on the chest and said, "Michael, You have no right to call yourself a man of God if you read less than 20 chapters a day in the Bible. And that started at my teenage. I was also 15 when I preached my first crusades in Houma, Louisiana. All over the South, Louisiana, and Texas. And I began to preach crusades for churches. When I was 18, I went to Bible college for 3 semesters. But my father did not have $550. I want you to listen carefully to this. He did not have $550 to pay my scholarship or pay my tuition. That's the word. It's Southwestern Assemblies of God Bible College. I told him I just got a job. Please give me 2 more weeks to pay, and they refused. I was the vice president of the freshman class at 19 years old. So I left Bible college on February the 4th and preached my first crusade as a full-time evangelist at 19 on February the 9th. I'm 80 years old. I had a passion to read books. My father didn't. He only read 1 book outside the Bible in 99 years on the earth. It was a man of prayer, but not a man of learning. But he was a man of prayer. He prayed 4 hours to 10 every day of his life. And I tell this everywhere I go. He had 7 children. He built 7 churches. And I never saw him sin or say one wrong, bad word in my lifetime. He didn't like conversation. I loved it. He did not like to hear anybody talk. I loved to listen to people talk. Our difference was profound, but his goodness was undoubtable. I called in a little conference for preachers. And the closing day, the 7th day of our conference for preachers, 125 of them, I told my testimony, my financial testimony. My father stared at the floor for 2.5 hours. When I got through, he came up to me slowly and said, "Son, nobody ever taught us any prosperity teaching in my whole life." He said, "If somebody would have told your mother and me about the financial world in the Bible, our whole ministry would have been different." My first thought was, "Well, Daddy, it's in the Bible. You've read the Bible. That's the only book you've read your whole life. Why didn't you read this? Why didn't you see this? Why didn't you see that?" But remember this about your learning world. It's your choice to be a learner. It's not God's choice. It's your choice. John the Revelator wrote in the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 3, "A man who will read books will be successful, be blessed." King James calls it blessed. Other versions call it prosperous. But it looked like John said, your money world depends on your learning world. Your money world depends on your reading. That's in the Bible. I bought 13,000 books read 10,000 of them. I read day and night. When I was 16 years old, I read at 2:30 every morning. The first set of books was the World Book Encyclopedia. My mother had bought the whole set. I had a passion to learn. Now, if you didn't have a good teacher that motivated you, because the teachers make a difference, if somebody didn't teach you to learn, you may not have a passion to learn. You may think whatever happens is the will of God. We'll just live life. We'll face life as it is. 2 years ago, the richest man in America was approached by a reporter, said, "You're worth $359 billion. What is your secret to your money life?" And you know what his answer was? "I just read a book. I just read a book." I've recommended several books, and I want to do so again tonight. They're not mine, but they're books that'll help you in your financial life. Money matters. Money matters. Quit trivializing money. The smartest man who ever lived said in the Bible, "Money answereth all things." And it's not a passion for you to buy my books. My books, excuse me, there's one of my phones going off there. Let me give you some books. One is called The Millionaire Next Door. I don't know who wrote it. I read it. I've read so many books. The Money Next Door. It's a fabulous book. The Magic of Thinking Big by Claude Bristol. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I've read that through probably 5 times. He's got quite a story behind his life. He personally interviewed the 100 wealthiest men in the world. The 100 wealthiest men in the world, and wrote his conversations in that book. Give you another example before I give you an illustration. A man in the Wisdom Center Church said, "Pastor, come have a meal with my 5 children and me." I'm sitting there, and suddenly he begins to tell me he needs me to pay his house note. It's 3 months behind. Then he begins to tell me he needs me to pay his car note. It's 3 months behind. And I nodded. Then I went over to his bookshelf and looked at his books. There's about 40 of them. I read the authors, and I said, "Son," I said, "you don't have any books here by millionaires. What's wrong? Why wouldn't you buy a book by a billionaire?" Somebody that... He was angry, of course. There are 12 rewards of reading a book. I listed them in my last book. A book is instant wisdom without the mistakes others have made. It seems to be the quickest way to get wisdom is reading. That's why John the Revelator said, "Blessed," some would say prosperous, is the man who will read books. That's why I slashed my price down for my books to $2 each. I write a book a month and send it free to all my friends. If you'd like to receive it, my phone number is 72 Radio 500. 72 Radio 500. If you ask for book 72, I'll send you that and I give you the 25. No, I think it's 31. 31 greatest discoveries of my life. 80 years old. Remember me telling you about my experience with Bill Gates a few weeks ago on the radio? I'm going to tell you one of the greatest miracles of my life in just a moment. But I have asked the Lord for 500 people within the next 12 months who will call me and support me. The amount of the seed, the offering is up to you. God may speak to you to tithe to our ministry. The word tithe means 10%. If you make 100, you give God 10. I think it's stunning that God wanted us to partner with him financially, but he only asked for 10 cents out of $1. 10 cents. God could have easily said, let's go in halves. Let's go 50%. Every time you make $200, give me 100. But he didn't. God said, all I want. I asked the Lord one day, I said, Lord, if you own the cattle on 1,000 hills and the silver and the gold, why are you asking me for my little 2 nickels for? And he said, it's the only proof that you trust me. It's the only proof you trust me. I felt led to tell you a little stunning story in my life. 4 times in my life, I had given away everything I had. Everything. All the money in my bank. I kept $100 to keep the account open. 4 times. After my last time, I received a check for songwriting royalties of $8,500. I was thrilled, elated. It happened on a Thursday. Saturday, I fly to Columbus, Ohio, where my friend Rod Parsley pastored a great church. Sunday night, I'm preaching. About 9:30, about 9:20, the Lord said, how would you like, this is the Holy Spirit speaking to Mike, how would you like to explore and experiment what I could do with your 8,500? I was in the middle of preaching. I was in a state of shock. I said, no, thank you. I said, I just gave you everything in my bank accounts. I just emptied my bank accounts. This just arrived, and now you want this too? Mad? Yeah, I was. I didn't even own a kitchen table, and this check had just come in, $8,500. I was elated. I thought it was the beginning of my blessing. And the Lord said again, how would you like to explore and experiment what I could do with your 8,500? I think it was 3 or 4 times. I was in the middle of my preaching. I turned to Brother Rod Parsley and his wife Joni. They were sitting on the platform. I said, is your house paid for? He shook his head, no. I said, the Lord just told me to give you $8,500. Nobody knew it was about all the money I had. Nobody, except God. I couldn't speak for a week, maybe 3 or 4 times. I couldn't talk that night. I told everybody what God had spoke to me if they wanted to come help me get his house paid for. About 14, 15 people came up to give $8,500. I literally could not hardly talk for a week. At the end of the week, I said, Lord, was I a fool for giving away all the money I had? Am I a fool? And the Lord quickly whispered to me back, anything you do in an attempt to please me will not go unrewarded. My answer? I hope so. Another week passed. It was Wednesday morning. I was preaching for Dusty Kemp, Bread of Life Church, and I was in my second hour of prayer. It was 7:15, 7:30 or so. And suddenly the Holy Spirit gave me an idea. I reached for a pen. I wrote it down. I'll make it short. Got 3 minutes left with you. A businessman came to visit my office, and I told him, I said, Jack, I have an idea. I showed it to him. He said, that thing will sell. He said, if you'll let me take that idea, I will pay you the tithe check on every profit I make on it. I said, okay. I had no idea. Guess who loved my idea? 3 stores: Walmart, Kmart, Hallmark, the bookstore. Walmart, Kmart, Hallmark. You know what the first check was? The tithe? He made the money. Sent me the tithe. You know what the first check was? $106,000. My world changed. I call the $8,500 seed a lifetime income seed. I want to pray for 3 people. Listen to me tonight. That within the next 12 months, you will sow an $8,500 seed to help me stay on the radio. I'm on the radio in 5 nations, 7 nights a week. Mexico, Canada, Australia. I've already told you that. Father, I had no idea you would give me a lifetime blessing from one idea. But you told me anything we did to please you. I ask you for a Peter, James, and John. Listen to me on the radio. I don't need the money to buy my house. My house is paid for. But I ask you for 3 people who within 12 months will sow $8,500 seed. They may have it already in their retirement fund. They may want to leave me in their will for the radio program. But your sheep know your voice. I believe in a harvest. What we don't hear, we don't learn. What we don't hear twice, we don't remember. Honor them. Let the same lifetime blessing come upon them for the $8,500. That's a lot of money. And as we use this $8,500 to stay on the radio, give them a testimony. My phone number is 72 Radio 500. That's my phone number, 72 Radio 500. 7 hours or 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, call me. I wish you would leave your phone number so I can call you back. Good night.
Thank you for joining Mike Murdock Radio, 7 nights a week, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you for joining Radio 100 as a monthly partner. Your support means the world. Remember to call for your free gift book, Book 321. Our phone number, 321 MM Radio.